Very good. Thank you very much, Paul and Kevin, for reading out the translation of this today's chanting. It is always good to reflect when we read it out. It gives us more insight into it. So good evening, everyone. We have Nelly here from London attending tonight's evening chanting. So a few people ask me about me visiting the hospital. So the question, what happened or why I am in the hospital and so on. And then there is also a particular word. What was it? Kevin, you said? Testicles.
Testicle.
So Carl also sent me this testicles. What is it? So it says, translation is, they have taken more blood, another scan, and asked to come back tomorrow with testicles. I'm done for this morning. Testicles. The translation is wrong. How can I take my testicles by myself and take it to them?
I have to take it to the butcher.
So it's supposed to be a stool.
Thank goodness for that.
So the translation is completely
Wrong.
not a wrong, misunderstanding. That's why everybody worried. How am I going to go with my testicles?
We'll have to do an extra 15 minutes on the meditation tonight.
So just to give you information that nothing to worry, not too much. I'm on the progress, and they just wanted to get further studies about my condition, which is very unusual for their case. That's the reason I've been chosen to study. So that's why I will be having more tests and more information I have to pass on. In a way, I felt like my body I'm using to give more information and let the many students to study about my body so that they can develop further understanding on this particular disease, the liver, and they can pass on to the information. That's why I agreed to be a part of the study, since my case is one of the rare cases they have realized. So nothing to worry. My liver condition is coming back to normal, not normal, but from 14 now it's a 7. It's in a 7 now. So the standard is a 5. When first checkup was done, it was 14 something, and that's how I was worried, and everyone was worried about it. Then I took precautions, and I took more rests, took more veggies, and more water. With that, within a year, it came down to 6.9, and then after this year, today, it is the last week, December, end of January, December was the one test, and then I went back again, and now it is today it is a 10. Sorry, today is a 7. So it's a very unusual case that changed so quickly. and also it's known as a non-alcoholic symptoms, and they wanted to study. And I agreed in that study. Another reason was, apart from giving my body as a tool for the further studies, another reason was that I have a stomach problem, so they're going to check on the stomach as well. So that is the reason that I will be going to hospital quite often, not because of the severe illnesses, but just a part of the study. Obviously, condition is also monitored regularly. No, so no need to worry, and it's not testicles that I'm taking, or just a stool. Just a stool I'm taking. Technically, I always wanted to offer my body to the hospital for further studies. So I have signed up for the what's called the body parts donation, organ donation. Organ donation. So I have done that one. Then I was suggested to do another one, which one is giving after my death, giving this body to the hospital for the further investigation or the study. I thought that I did that one, but one of the doctors, he told me that that's not the case. But they will be taking my organs, if any are good, to what's called transmit or transplant to other people. So and that's I signed up for. So as a result, I thought that this is another opportunity, since they have asked for. Then I am very happy to be part of it. Because in Buddhism, there are 3 different types of a giving, levels of a giving, not a types, and levels of a giving. So the first level of a giving is called the dana parami. So that's the normal, and it's in a dana parami. Basically, you are giving you're giving basic material things to begin with, and that's called a dana parami. And the second, within that dana parami, within that dana parami, apart from giving these material things, you can give your time, you can give your effort or your strength. And this is also known as the basic giving. And this is also very difficult to give. Especially giving, like let's say things, it's much easier than giving money. Sometimes we give things because we don't want it anymore. And then sometimes we give things because we think that this will help that person. And then those things are much easier to give. Sometimes it can be very expensive. Whereas in terms of the monetary, even to give £1 is very difficult, because we have this tendency of grasping. And that's why it's very difficult to give. Now, things that we don't want, it's very easy to give it away. But the things that we want but still want to give it away is very difficult. So things that we don't want and giving is also a charity, but it's not a higher one. So we have to give things that is useful for that person, and then that is regarded as a higher one. And then not that you don't want and you give it to. And then things that you are giving, not the things that somebody gave it to you, but the things that you have earned by your own efforts, and then you are giving it to other people, that they will use it and they will get the benefit, and that is regarded as the great giving. And that again, within that we can give. So and the further on is the giving of money, and that's very difficult, even a pound. And then when we are giving, we always think about how am I going to give, what they are going to do, and where they're going to invest, and so on. So there will be plenty of thoughts in that. And so when we are giving in that way, it is regarded as the dana that you have given. You become a slave of your own giving. So you will constantly thinking of that, and as a result, you will not have much happiness of a giving. So when we give, we have to give freely without thinking. Then you become the master of your own giving. And then further on, which is giving a time. Now, we are very much driven by the time, and we care about the time, and we calculate with the times. So that is another reason why it's very difficult to give time to someone. This is also one that when you hear or when you realize that someone needs attention, giving the time with a great kindness and compassion, that's also part of a giving. And your strength, now in case of someone in need of the help, then you are giving your strength. So that's also part of a giving, known as the giving. And then further on, the greater giving is that giving some knowledge, advice. So that is known as the greater giving. So that's why in Buddhism it's called the Dhamma Dana is the greatest giving. So giving the Dhamma is the greatest giving, because the Dhamma is not only helping that person to gain the happiness in this life, but also that person will develop the understanding of the Dhamma and able to free themselves from the greed, hatred and delusion. So it may not be in this life they're free, but at least they have got this seed of this good in their hearts, and then walking on that path they will free themselves. And then further on, the higher than that is the forgiveness. It's called abhayadana. Forgiveness is the greatest of all giving. It's very difficult to forgive to someone who had done something, and also meantime it's very difficult to forgive ourselves too. Things that we have done, and then the consequences of that doing, and we feel that because of that we are in this bad position or difficult state, or the future is not so bright and so on, and we constantly thinking of that. As a result, we tormented by ourselves. In that case, it's very difficult to forgive. The teachings of the Buddha is to forgive ourselves, and meantime the others. Like this afternoon, I went to visit one gentleman and had a talk, and he's now pretty old. So he explained, saying that while I was discussing with him, sharing conversation, I asked him, what are the things that you feel regretted that you haven't done in your life, and what would you do if you want to do something? And one of the things that he said that I wish that I could have a good relationship with the family members. And then when I asked what had happened, so the reason he abandoned, or they abandoned him, was simply that there was one time his brother was in Australia, and because of his ill health in Australia, he came back to Aberdeen in Peterhead. And while he was there, he had cancer and was in a deathbed. So he went to visit, and very next day he was told that better keep away from the family. And that word, that keep away from the family, made him not wanting to associate with them at all, despite this his brother, he grown up together, and he went to play golf together, play football together, and had a fun together for a long time, even had a business together. And then after he went to Australia, they separated, and then when he came back with the disease and about to die, his wife told him not to come, or just to get away, or not to come, basically. So he felt that he was discarded, so he never contacted, and they even never contacted him. And with that, gradually all the family members also didn't contact him, and now he feels very lonely. And then I told him, I gave him, and I spoke with him about different stories, and tried to have a family reunion. And he said that he's not ready to forgive the one that he experienced that, and he's still repeating the same thing. And in the meantime, this is the main reason that he could not feel happy within himself, as well as he cannot forgive his sister-in-law. So that is continued him to be tormented or feel sad. But nevertheless, after talking, I feel that he was a bit emotional, and then later on he managed to understand that he's not ready to embark on a reunion yet, but his heart, I felt that his heart was eased after the discussion. So that's why the forgiveness is also a very important part of the giving. I normally look at it as forgiving, you know. And the word, in English word itself, it says forgiving. You know, it's to give, not to keep. And whereas once we have forgiven, you know, it's for getting. So we have to forget it. So forgetting is actually when we are forgetting those the unwanted moments. So we are getting something. What are we getting? That's the peace and happiness that we are getting. So that's why this is although looks like a very big things in terms of the giving, but still regarded as ordinary giving. Yeah, this is still regarded as ordinary giving. Now the second level of a giving is a giving your limbs, your blood, your organs to someone's sake. And when I heard that the Gavin was giving a blood, I felt like, oh, that's a very good giving. This is the second level of a giving. Giving blood, giving organs away to someone's sake, that is known as the second giving. That's called dana upaparami, second giving. And the second giving, now I remember when I was a novice monk, there was a big issue about this when my teacher spoke about giving blood and giving organs for others' sake. People were asking that how could I give this one? No, this is not good, and blood will be messed up, and then after we die, our organ will be disappear. We want to be reborn with this, all organs, like that. Then my teacher gave so many talks on that, and my teacher also wrote on that too, saying that this is one of the hardest one. And then once you have given, it is not that you are not getting. It is completely different story. So this giving is something that we cherish, and it's very difficult to give. So that's the second level. Now from that, now in this giving Giving eye to someone is hard one. When we die, we can give, that's okay. Like my mother, when my mother died, before his death, doctors told that her eyes are very fresh and her eyes are very healthy. And having heard that, and suddenly I got this mind that I must tell my mother to give it, to donate. And it took me almost a week to convince her, that donate your eye after you're gone. And even other organs. But my mother wasn't happy to give other organs. But finally, I managed to convince her to donate this eyes. And immediately, my mother died. Within 2 hours later, this doctor came and taken this lens from the eye. Initially I thought that they're gonna take my mother's whole eye, which I didn't know. So this doctor came and he took only this lens, and I was so surprised. And then after 2 days later, I got a message saying that the eye's been transplanted to another a lady, and she is now looking the world. When I heard that, I felt so happy. Similarly, in the Buddhist scripture, Buddha gave his eyes while he was still alive. And that's the part of the paramitas that he fulfilled. So one has to give our body parts for the sake of others. So that's called the upaparamita. Then the paramatha paramita is the hard one. So paramatha paramita is that for the sake of others' safety and life, you're happy to sacrifice your life. This is very, very hard, sacrificing your own life for the sake of others. And this is known as the paramatta paramita, paramatta dana parami. So greatest of all of a giving. And this is in Nepal, there is one specific place called Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddha. Now, in that Namo Buddha, there is a very beautiful Tibetan monastery built now. But in that vicinity, there is the story that one of in the Buddha's previous lives, he was a prince with 3 brothers, and they were hunting. When they went for a hunting, they found this tigress with the little cubs sleeping, and this tigress didn't have energy to hunt, so it was very weak. And all these 3 princes, they went to hunt, and then having seen this weak tigress and the cubs out of energy, they didn't kill. But this Mahasattva, the prince, the youngest one, having seen this tigress, felt very compassionate, very compassionate. So after all 3 went out from the jungle, this young prince thought that he should save this tigress, otherwise all these 7 cubs also will die. So he returned, saying that I forgot my sword. Carry on going back home, I will follow you. So this prince, Mahasattva, he went back to the tigress, and he took off his clothes and lie before the tigress. Tigress tried to bite, but still didn't have the energy to bite this prince. And as a result, having seen that the tigress was not able to bite the prince took a sword and cut his flesh. How painful that would be. he cut his flesh and fed tigress. After a couple of cuttings and feeding, so tigress began to lick the blood and began to eat the flesh and got the energy. And with that, the tigress ate this prince. And this tigress dragged this this soulless bone from one place to another place. And now it is believed that the place where is now the pagoda, the white pagoda, is there, believed to be the place his bones were buried. Yeah? And then there's another place where he offered himself to the tigress. There is a stone carved of cutting his flesh and giving. So these are the two pilgrimage sites for the Nepalese way before. And I remember my father was always singing about it, and I didn't know what does it mean by then. When I was a young boy, my father used to sing these songs. And after a long time later, when I went back to see them before his death, maybe about 2006 or 7, I decided to take a tour, a whole family, hire a van, and then a whole family went on a tour, pilgrimage site to this site. So before, it was very difficult for people to travel. It took probably about 3 to 4 days, and it's up in the mountains, and always scary of the tigers. So my father always wanted to go but didn't have chance to go. So I took him. When I took him there, he was over the moon. He was over the moon. The very moment when he saw this sculpture, or the stone carved sculpture, where the prince cutting his flesh and giving it to the tigress, he just started singing that song. He just started singing that song, and I still remember the joy and the happiness that my father had. From the childhood, he was always singing this song and willing, longing to go, but didn't have chance to go. And then after the singing that song, we walk down the hills, come towards the stupa. Stupa where his bones buried. So we again sat down and did this the chanting and meditate, and my father was just smiling, and singing this song, and constantly with a great devotion and a great respect. So after chanting, we did the 3 circumambulance, the 3 times, and then light the candles. After lighting that candles, we were having a tea just in front of that stupa, and I could see my father was just gloaming, and my mother was just sitting next to him, and he was looking all his grandchildren running around and playing, and it was a wonderful scene that I still can remember, how beautiful that moment was. So this is the place that Nepal believes that in a previous life the prince, the Buddha to be, he offered himself for the sake of this tigress, become a pilgrimage site. And later on, about 10 years ago, this is the place that the Dalai Lama said that there is one specific a tree called the bodhicitta, a tree, and the fruit that he is used for the beads. And the moment when the Dalai Lama said that these beads, these fruits are only available in that area, and those seeds are so good to make the beads for the chanting, and if you are doing it it helps you to gain to a meditative state more quickly. It's also a form of a merit that you are acquiring, and so on. So he told that story, and immediately all the trees became millions of rupees of those one tree, and then they even put the fence up. All the villagers become suddenly rich, and all these people came and bought these tree beforehand, and if the tree has got the fruits, then there was 24 hours guards. It's very expensive. It became a very expensive. So somehow, and then after 2 or 3 years later, I went back again with Mrs. Clayton, and I also got one 9 beads. And that was expensive too. But because of the what's called a trend going on, so I also bought one. So that is the place giving the the highest sacrifice or highest giving. Now, I'm not talking about I am giving this body for the sake of it, but at least the second level of a giving, that I have given the blood, but I haven't given it now, and which I have registered with the help of Gavin now. So probably in a near time I will be going to give that too. So in the meantime, I thought that when they ask this rare opportunity or rare case that they have found in me about this liver case, so I thought that okay, I was okay, happy. So go ahead. And even today there were 2 research nurses, one from Lithuania, another from South Africa. Yeah, so they are the leading in my case. So we were talking and we were chatting, and so when they asked me, "Are you sure that you want to be part of it?" Yes. I was just happy, that I will be useful for their study. So in a way, without me teaching, my body is teaching them, and also they will be able to further understanding of this thing, the condition, and able to develop medicine for future generation. So that's why I was happy to give this study. So as a result of that, so no need to worry about the health much, although there is a condition going on, but apart from the conditions, so I am giving this opportunity to study, so I will be visiting doctors more times, so no need to worry at all. Okay, so thank you very much everyone for your concerns, but I am in good hands, and in the meantime this is a good opportunity to give myself for the future education, because if I die, this body, they will burn it at least before my death. I know that some part of my body is being used, so I am giving it, happy to give. And in the meantime, after I die, again, my organs will be used by other people, and I'm also happy that they will keep some of them. So I'm quite happy to give my body as well. So these are the 3 the levels of giving that the Buddha taught. And now once we have done all these 3, or if we can do it, all 3 levels of giving a dana, then we have perfected one dana among the 10 perfections, right? So there are 10 perfections that we have to perfect if we are willing to be the Buddha in the future. So I hope that this will help you to understand the concept of the dana a little bit more in a different scale or different ways. So, right, with this, let's do the chanting. start from the same Karaniya Metta Sutta and Jinapanjara after that. Okay?